Hello, my name is Michael Robertson. My team's name is The Independent. This project was created through Portland State University Computer Science course 410, Data Engineering, which was taught by Bruce Irvin, who was assisted by Genevieve Lalonde. This project was designed to create a data pipeline to collect, validate, and analyze traffic congestion from breadcrumb data provided by C-Tran. C-Tran is the public transportation bus system that is used from Yacolt, Washington to Portland, Oregon. C-Tran has 26 bus routes that result in a total of 899 stops. This transportation system was founded in July of 1981. The breadcrumb data are records of the C-Tran bus movements while the bus is operational throughout the whole day. The bus records its information around every 5 seconds. The information that is saved ranges from the time and day of the record to the location of the bus via GPS coordinates. The data that was provided by C-Tran ranges from the beginning of September of 2020 to the end of October of 2020. This data pipeline was created through a virtual machine, which is shortened as VM, using the Google Cloud Platform. A VM is an emulation of a computer system. This platform allowed for creating the VM that was used to design and conduct the data pipeline that was used for this project. The VM that was created used the operating system known as Ubuntu, which is a version that is used on Linux computer systems. Apache Kafka was used as the data processor for this pipeline. Kafka is a distributed data store optimized for ingesting and processing streaming data in real time. The two APIs that were used from Kafka were the producer and consumer API. The producer publishes given records to a Kafka topic, while the consumer processes the records that are previously published to that Kafka topic. It was during the consumer stage that the given data was validated. The validations that occurred were ensuring that the proper information was being collected. If a record did not either have the necessary information or the data it contained was considered irregular, then that specific record was dismissed. For example, there was one record that stated the bus was moving at a speed of 150 miles per hour, which obviously was incorrect. Therefore, that record was discarded. The information that does pass the validations were sent to the Postgres SQL data tables. Postgres is a database system, a system in which data can be inputted into a table in order to organize the data, to answer queries, or group information for visualizations. For this data pipeline, there were two tables that were created. One was named breadcrumb, which listed the date and time, the latitude and longitude at the time of the record, the direction it was heading as an integer that ranged from 0 to 359, the speed at which the bus was heading at, which was for miles per hour, and the trip ID of the bus. The other table was called the trip table, which involved the trip ID that was connected to the breadcrumb table entries, and the route ID that the trip ID was associated with, the vehicle ID that the bus had been recorded to, and whether it was a weekday or if it was a weekend, which day it was. There was also the direction for the trip table, which stated if it was going out from point A to B, A being the starting point and B being the end point, or going from B to A. Throughout the data collection process, there was a pattern that was discovered. As expected, there are more breadcrumb data points that were recorded during the weekdays, because there are more stops on the weekday schedule for C-Tran. Saturdays have nearly half of what a weekday's average count would be. Sundays had the least number of records. When the validations occurred, there were often many records that were not accepted. They were usually more rejected on the weekdays due to there being more records having been analyzed compared to a weekend. This is a visualization of a portion of the breadcrumb data that was collected. In the image shown, the breadcrumb data shows a portion of Highway 14 and the records that correspond to this section on Wednesday the 28th, 2020, from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. The green dots represent both the location and the speed at which the buses were traveling at. The reason for them all being green is because the buses were moving at the same speed through all the records during this time frame. This is a visualization of the same location but on a Sunday, specifically October 25th, 2020, still the same time frame from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. Here are the two visuals next to each other. The Sunday visual is significantly less populated compared to the Wednesday visual due to there being less stops that would occur on a Sunday compared to that of a weekday, resulting in there being less buses traveling through this point on a Sunday. There were some problems that arose during the process of making this data pipeline. Some were small things like there not being enough validations. This specific problem led to being some data being inserted that should not have been. Once more validations were created, the accepted records were more aligned to what they should represent. Another problem was originally connecting to the Postgres table. This was a problem because if the data's accepted records were very large in quantity, then it would take a longer portion of time to insert the data. But if the problem was that while it was inserting the data and it stopped midway, then this would have wasted the time spent inserting the data and running the program, and then adding the time of having to remove the partially uploaded data in order to eliminate duplicated data. The last major difficulty was the new tools, to me at least, that were being used for this pipeline. Due to it being new to me, it took a learning curve to successfully both understand and implement them into the program. After a little trial and error, however, these tools were correctly utilized and worked as they were designed to. I would like to take this time to say thank you to CTRAN for providing this data that was used for this. I would also like to thank both Bruce and Genevieve for their help and guidance with this project as well. Thank you.